Each week we sit down and talk strategy, and today is no different because Alan Kelly, CEO, founder of Playmaker Systems, and plays2run.com is with us in the studios. Welcome again.
Good morning.
Thank you back. You got the glasses on top of the head. You got that professorial look about you.
Hey,
ready to lay out the wisdom of the world.
The tie is loosened. The cuffs are up. It's hot out there.
It is indeed. A little hot for Mitt Romney. I mean, I was looking at your post, Jolly Good Sport. Mitt screens the Olympics. And I wanted to ask you about this because you wrote this, right before the occurrence of the so-called gaffes, which is Mitt Romney going out there, first of all, on NBC saying, well, it's important, to be prepared.
Yes, I wrote it just before.
Did you?
No.
Oh, okay. But
I knew about it.
Explain, the strategy of going and appearing. Mitt Romney, as we know, ran the Olympics in Salt Lake City. And this was an opportunity for him, I guess, to sort of go out there and say, hey, by the way, remember when I was successful?
Well, the Olympics are of Romney. They are in Romney. They are everything about Romney. And it's really one of the areas of his resume, which is the opposition has had a very hard time criticizing. So, he'd be foolish not to be at the Olympics and in the Olympics and talking about the Olympics. Now, of course, he said a little bit more than some people think he should have said, but even so, it's a slam dunk for him. And the play that he's running is very, very difficult for Obama or Axelrod and company to counter. There are no natural counters to this play.
There was one that Charles Krauthammer actually brought up. He says, look, I understand that, it's important that the horse did a wonderful job helping Ann Romney with her MS and her recuperation, but do you really have to mention the fact, and do you even want to have the horse participating in dressage, which just plays to that narrative of the elitism that some of the Democrats are pushing on Mitt Romney?
It's true. I think that's valid, but and Krauthammer said that.
Yeah.
Well.
But he was the one who said, and I'll just tell you, he said that. He also said Mitt Romney made a big mistake by why didn't he just say, hey, it's nice to be here? It kind of like, instead of trying to give an analysis of the way the Olympics are working, it's sort of like being invited to, I compare it to being invited to a dinner party and saying, how did you like it? Well, you just say, hey, thank you very much. It was great.
But on the horses, the Romneys are getting better at being proud of their wealth and translating it and running recast plays as success. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not sure that really diminished him.
I think your point, too, is with the screen is that really for a fortnight it takes the eyeballs and the attention well away from the campaign.
Way away.
Yeah.
The cruel irony for presidential campaigners is that they get cooking, they get through the primaries, they're leading into the convention, and this giant speed bump of the Olympics comes along,
and those two are happening in the summers before campaigns.
Yeah. And I think most any campaigner, whatever side of the aisle they're on, incumbent or challenger as well, I think they probably would like to wish away the Olympics into a different cycle, but and usually it is to the advantage, the natural advantage, the bully pulpit of a sitting president, particularly a second-term seeking sitting president. But this president, our current president, Barack Obama, has no natural connection to the Olympics, not anything like Romney does. And so this is a unique situation. I don't know if it's happened before, but Romney really deserves to be there. He deserves to be commenting. He deserves to be standing next to the symbology and the meaningfulness of the Olympics. And Obama can't do much. He's commissioned super PACs, or maybe given a wink to super PACs to try to tease out some things about Romney's management of the Salt Lake Olympics. He's sent his wife there to lead the parade. But that's just not enough. This was a week. I mark this sort of like boxing in rounds. I think this week was won by Romney. I think if he behaves himself, he wins the next two, and that's not insignificant.
Now, one thing that the president is doing today, which is not related to the Olympics, but is related to the visit by Mr. Romney to Israel, and the president signing into law today the technical name, the United States-Israel Enhanced Security Cooperation Act, and the Secretary of Defense is going to Israel next week. And that, although the Olympics will still be going on, may be a way of, in some ways, I guess, preempting Mitt Romney's visit to Israel.
Yes, it is. And that forces Romney into a situation where he's just simply trying to crowd a situation and be a part of it, but he really can't lead the narrative like he can or is leading the narrative in London and with the Olympics as a backdrop. He has no natural credential with Israel that he does, say, with the Olympics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. So in other words, that's the connection there. I think it's interesting in the context of what Alan does all the time, by the way, which is the plays. You've got run screens for your own. The president has no natural connection to the Olympics, so there's no possibility of a screen. Run a challenge. They'll try, but what would they use for the challenge? Right. You can run the mirror. Not the Daily Mirror. Or anything.
You can reflect evidence.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Expose your rival for exploiting sacred ideas, or you could run a call out. But if the screen is good for you, co-opt it. But it's kind of hard for the president to co-opt unless you, like you said, maybe you could shoot hoops with the dream team.
That's right.
But that's probably not going to happen.
We've articulated a system of irreducibly unique plays, or what you might more fancifully call influence strategies. But either way, it's a spectrum of 24 of them, and every single one of them, we know well enough now how to define them, what their best cases are, how to decode them. But we also then know how to counter them. And when you go to the screen, and you can do this on our system, but we go to the screen play, which is to use some object to navigate through a market with, there are 4 or 5 general, sort of home truths or home-based practices that can be used to stop that play. They're the call out, like you mentioned, the challenge, the screen, the mirror, blah, blah, blah. They're not working. There's no standard general way to stop the screen. It's that good for Romney. This is really his to kind of goof up.
One thing I wanted to ask before we get done here is the difference between long-term and a short-term play. And the reason I ask that is because the long-term, in a way, is Mitt Romney as the out-of-touch rich guy. And I wonder if there's a way, for example, one of the things he could do as he's visiting, it may not be necessarily important as far as getting votes, but with the shirt sleeves, visiting a London market, just getting a sense of the people as opposed to meeting with it's important, I guess, to meet with the leaders and so on. But the Olympics are about internationalism, and they're about people of the world and mixing and mingling with all of those folks. And I wonder if this is the kind of an opportunity he could grab by doing that. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to visit the Wailing Wall. I'm assuming that he'll try to do some more regular guy types of things, and I just wonder, is that the place for it on an international tour or not?
I don't know. I mean, I think that that's what he did well during his vacation in Lake Winnipesaukee. He sat down, he had ice cream, he mingled,
I guess,
with the layman.
Well, no, you're right, and I'm thinking about it too. It may be that it's not the stage. The international stage may not be the place to just be one of the people, because President Obama in 2008 had gone and made the huge speech in Germany where the crowds were massive. Mitt Romney's going to Poland. He's not going to Germany, but
yes,
there is maybe that idea that you want to look like you are representing America, even though he is saying, I'm not the president and I don't want to be commenting on the president at this point.
In going to Europe, it is important that he goes to Europe. It is odd he's not going to Afghanistan, but he is at least going across the pond. And I think that can serve him well. But if he hadn't have had, the excuse or the backdrop of the Olympics to do this, then he would be having a terrible time, because he'd have the Brandenburg Gates thing hanging over him in a fairly big way. I think that over the next day or two, or I guess next 2 weeks, Romney has a really good opportunity to mingle with folks, but I don't think necessarily at shop carts in Trafalgar Square. I think that he'll be going in and trying to do things that really identify with the pride and the tradition and the friendly competition that all these things that the Olympics mean, he can take and he can attach further to his brand. I think he'll be doing those kinds of things.
And remind people of his economic success, because the reason that people tout his stewardship of the Olympics in Salt Lake City was the fact that they actually made money.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a part of it. That's great. Interesting points. Of course, plays2run.com. That's the numeral 2 in between the words. Alan Kelly, always with us on Fridays. Always great. Thanks for being here again.
Cake and candles to my son, Leo. It's his birthday.
It is? Really?
It is.
Born on July the 27th.
Born today.
Well, he was just born this morning. But I mean,
he's 16 years old
16,
today.
Okay. Yeah. All right, very good. 16 candles and a big fat cake for him. All right, thank you.